Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, hey, hi. Hi,
Hi,
everyone.
ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, good morning.
So I'll start with a short introduction of yours. Okay, then
Okay.
you can start the session.
Okay.
So good morning to one and all present here. Today, for an online session on applicability of agile methodology in industry, we have with us today's expert, Miss.Shriya Reshi, who is a decision scientist at MU Sigma Bangalore. A decision scientist is strong in design and integration with innovative problem-solving skills. She has 3 years of experience collaborating with Fortune 500 clients. She is here to guide all of us and provide valuable information about industrial applicability of agile techniques for software development. Without further ado, I request Ms. Shreya to kindly start with the session.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the introduction, and hi everyone again. I'm Shriya, and as you already mentioned, I am a decision scientist who not only help businesses, understand their data and derive insights out of it, but also go through a design thinking process where they can take intuitive decisions from that. So I am here today to talk about agile in industry. And honestly, for all of you who do plan to go into software industry and become some developer or like a data scientist or a decision scientist for that reason, this is one of the most important basic topics you need to be aware of. So I'll just start sharing my screen and then we can get started with the session. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Before we actually go and see how agile is used in industry, I just want to talk about a couple of numbers here to kind of highlight why agile is important. In the world right now, 94% of the organizations practice agile core to core. And out of those, 52% of the companies use agile in 3 by 4th of their projects, which is like a huge number, which is almost like in all of their projects. And 64% of the organizations have claimed that following this agile practice have helped improve their software delivery. Moving ahead, when we talk about using agile in industry, there are so many companies, as I already mentioned, 94% that use agile into their day-to-day operations. Some big names being Philips, Vodafone, Accenture, even NASA for that reason. And it's not just the adoption that they do; they also have felt the benefits of using this. So all of you must be aware about that car company Porsche, right? So they have claimed that using a agile framework into their day-to-day business, they have reduced their complexity of managing their digital work. And Southwest is an airline company which felt that within 10 weeks they did the complete digital transformation of their company from getting their results to market faster. And not just those companies, but many fortune companies like Chevron or FedEx have also seen use cases where they have leveraged agile to improve their businesses. Here, I'll just take an example of a FedEx. So, I hope everybody would be aware that FedEx is a supply chain company through which we can send couriers, parcels, and other goods and stuff across the globe. It's an international company. So, when pandemic hit, before pandemic, everything was an office-based system. People used to sit in office in their cubicles, manage the work from there, do the delivery work there, do the development work there. But because of a sudden pandemic and lockdowns across the whole globe, everything had to be shut down. And when there was some relaxation on services like couriers and all, still they couldn't open the office. Everything had to be moved from an office based system to a work from home system. At that time, many companies took a hit because they had requests coming in. People started using their websites more than it. They saw a hike of around 80 to 90% than usual. And their site and their apps were not able to handle that balance. So they thought that they will create some upgradations to their website. But for doing that, since all of the people were working from home and it was a new culture altogether, work from home, doing everything work from home, so they struggled in delivering it on time. Whenever they planned to do a feature, they were not able to complete that feature by the date they had decided. So at that time, they went and they leveraged this agile framework, which helps you divide your work into chunks. Like first iteration you will deliver x, second iteration you will deliver y, and by third iteration you will deliver your x plus y. And doing this process they actually improved their customer engagement, and they also had some $1 million enhancement in their revenues because of migrating to agile framework. uh, Moving ahead, so when we talk about agile in software development, it has kind of its four manifestos. So first one being individuals and interaction over processes and tool. While it is very important to follow standard processes and approve tools in an organizations, all of them become pointless if there are no interaction between individuals. If people are not talking among themselves that how are they going with respect to the process or the work being followed, agile can't go to its success rate. Second one being working software over comprehensive documentation. Now when we talk about documentation, it is one of a key aspect when we work on any project. You guys would be studying the software requirement document and all that in your course curriculum as well. All of that is very important, but at the same time showing a working prototype to your customers or to your business users is also equally important, because only then they will be able to relate what you're going to deliver it to them. For example, let's say you are creating an e-commerce website like Amazon. You can create a 20-page documentation for it, but if there is no prototype, no mock-up or no sample tool or no sample website for the users to see, they won't be able to engage with you that much. They won't be able to provide you the feedback or their exact requirements. Next one being customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So whenever we start a project, we kind of make a mini contract which says, for example, we have to create an e-commerce website and we will get done with it in 3 months. That's kind of a contract that we are giving them their word that in 3 months you will have your website with you. So, customer collaboration is equally important at each and every interval during these 3 months, because if you don't get their immediate feedback by the end of 3 months, if they don't like your product, your whole effort will go into vain. You will have to redo a lot of features, or maybe they'll not accept your product as well. So, customer collaboration and engagement is very, very important aspect of agile software development. And the last one being responding to change over following a plan. So when we start a project we create timelines. I think that also you guys would be covering, or if you have already covered in your curriculum, that when we start developing a project, for one of the first things apart from creating the business requirement document, the architecture is creating a timeline plan where you talk about all the features you're going to have in your e-commerce website and by when they will be completed, or what are the architecture or what are the technologies you will be using in that plan. But many times it's happened that we work in a technology driven world. Trends keep changing. Like we saw over past couple of months, chat gpt has become a huge hit, which was not even there 2 years ago. So trends keep changing and we have to keep up with the trend. So we need to be that flexible and that well acknowledged with the changes around the world to respond to them and include them in our software development process. I'll just pause here for any doubts here. Um, Please let me know. Feel free to ask any questions. Okay, I'll take that as a no. So we will move ahead. When we talk about agile, now just one thing. So since all of you, I hope, are CS students, and most of you will go into a development-based role or a product-based company or a service-based company, all the slides after this and what I'm going to talk about this will actually be used in your day-to-day work in those companies, or if you are going to do internships soon for that as well. So Scrum is most used agile framework. Basically, Scrum means dividing your work in a team into smaller chunks and doing experiment and continuous implementation on that. So Scrum is built on trust. There is a team. If there is no trust in the team, the whole Scrum framework kind of, it's not stable. The pillars won't be stable on that. And on top of trust in Scrum, we have transparency, inspection, and adaption. So by transparency, we mean all the work that a team is doing should be visible to each other in the team and their product owners. Second, when I talk about inspection, they need to continuously check that the logics or the features they are making are up to the mark or not, or are there any bugs in that, are there any new features or new enhancements that can be done into that. And last but not the least is the adaptation. Are the users adapting the solution that's being built, in the small pieces correctly or not. Apart from all this, the whole Scrum framework also has some key abilities like courage. The team members have the courage to do the right thing and work on tough problems. Focus, everyone should be focused on achieving the goals in the Scrum framework. Commitment, people, achieving these goals should be fully committed to that. Respect, they should respect each other team members and the work they are doing. And openness basically means calling out any problems they are facing or any achievements they are doing. When we talk about Scrum, let's come to a Scrum team. So, in any software company, this is the general structure of a team. So, first off, we have a Scrum Master. Scrum Master, in layman terms, if I say, is a manager, like a team manager, who manages the Scrum process. And he removes any problems that are there. He manages the work that is being done. He is responsible for all the work items that are assigned to people. Then we have a development team, which consists of developer, QA engineers, business analysts, architects. So it's usually a 5 member team, can be more than based on the requirement of the project. And then we have a product owner. Product owner is the person who owns the product you are developing. Let's take back the example of e-commerce website. So if we talk about e-commerce website, the role of Scrum Master would to manage what are the features you will be working on. So for example, you will be working on a home page, you will be working on a cart page, you will be working on, let's say in your e-commerce website, you have a clothing page, you have a electronics page. So these are all the set of features you will be developing for. So Scrum Master will take a note of all these works, assign it to people in the development team, and ask them by when, do you think these features can be implemented. And product owner together will be responsible of making the delivery happen. He takes continuous updates from the development team, from the Scrum Master, to check how the work is being done, what is the value that is being derived. And the product owners also talks to our business owner. Now business owner is the person who funds our project, okay, in very simple terms. If the business owner comes tomorrow and says stop this project, the project will get stopped. Or if he say let's take this project ahead, we'll do more work on the project. So he is the person who from the business side will handle the entire project and the value they are getting out of it. And then last set of personas are end users and domain expert who will use the website. So for e-commerce site, if you say, let's say business owner is someone in Amazon who manages their e-commerce section, let's say e-commerce portfolio manager. Users, sorry, or the end users will be all of us who consume their e-commerce website. So this is the entire structure of a Scrum team. Any doubts here? Okay. Moving ahead, let's talk about Scrum ceremonies. Now we spoke about how the team structure is laid down, how, what are the different people that are involved in a Scrum. And usually when we join, as a freshers in the industry, we are a part of this team, the development team. Some of you might become business analysts or architects or developers. Some of you might become QA engineers, next up, talking about Scrum ceremonies. So there are key. So Scrum is a cyclic process. In Scrum, we work, as I said, right? We divide work into chunks. Those chunks are called sprints. Sprints can be 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, or 4 week. Completely depends on the Scrum Master how he is planning it. So usually we say, right, like you have semesters, right? So 6 months. In 6 months, you will be covering 5 subjects. You will be giving an exam for them. If you pass them, you go into the next semester, which will be a continuation. So your entire degree is actually divided into 4 years, which consists of 8 semesters, right? So Scrum is also similar to that only. So let's say you are developing an e-commerce website. You have 5 features to make in it. You will divide them into different sprints. So moving forward, let's assume that we have sprints of 2 weeks. Let's say that. So we'll first start with the sprint planning. where we plan all the work. Then we will have daily scrums, and then we have sprint retrospective. And the reason it's put in a cycle is because once we go from sprint planning to sprint retrospective, again the process of sprint planning starts. Let's go into each of these ceremonies one by one, because I, as a data scientist or a decision scientist, actively use all these ceremonies in my day-to-day life. So first ceremony is sprint planning. Now, who are the or the developers, QA engineers, architects? Scrum master, who's going to manage all the work; product owner, who's responsible for all of our work, and owners. Now, when will this sprint planning happen? It usually, and he goes and shows it to business, usually happens in the start of a sprint. So let's say our sprint starts on a Monday. Our sprint planning will also happen on a Monday. Duration. Now, sprint planning is a very intensive work because you have to decide for next 2 weeks what you guys will be where all the three personas sit together and they decide, okay, be working on. Let's say they decide for the e-commerce website, they will be working on a home page. So they will list down all the tasks they need to do for it. Just 1 second, I'll have some water. Yes. And now, what is the purpose of sprint planning? So, the purpose of sprint planning, as I already mentioned, they have to set the work that needs to be done. And once that work is done, what they can show to their business owners. Next up comes daily stand up. Now, you have decided that for this sprint, which is 2 weeks, you will be working on a homepage feature. Now comes into picture daily stand up. Attendees for this are same: the development team, the scrum master, the product owner. It happens every day, typically in the start of the day, and it lasts for 15 to 30 minutes only. The purpose of this call is to give a quick update what everybody is working on that day in the development team. So they will answer three key questions: what did I do yesterday, what I will work on today, and if there are any issues or any blockers they have in doing their work. This is the purpose of the daily stand up, to have daily updates so that product owner can take the updates, see if work is being done as planned for the sprint or not. Now, once a sprint is over, we have sprint reviews or demos. Attendees for this will be obviously the development team, the scrum master, product owner. Now, since we are doing a demo of what we have built, we also include our business owners and end users. It happens at the end of the sprint, and usually it's a 45 minutes duration of a call. The purpose of this is to basically celebrate the work we have done and demonstrate an end-to-end demo of what we have built. So for example, for the e-commerce website, we built a homepage which talks about the offers, which talks about different sections of garments or electronics that we sell. So in the sprint demo, we will go and show each of those feature end to end to our business users. Now, why this is done is to get instant feedback from the business owners and the clients. If they don't like something in the homepage, rather than waiting full 3 months and then getting their feedback, we are getting it in just 2 weeks. And we work on implementing those feedback. Like if they say they don't like this picture or they don't like this button, so we keep a note of all those feedbacks and then we implement them. Now, demos are also over and reviews are also over. Finally, we have something called as sprint retrospective. Now, in a development team, it is very, very important to see what went well and equally important to see what did not go well. Attendees for this won't be business users, it will just be product owner, scrum master, and the development team. It happens again at the end of the sprint, typically for 30 minutes. What happens in retrospective is, for past 2 weeks, we built this homepage for e-commerce website. What did not go well there? Was there a feature we could have completed on time, or was there a feature which is not working fine? We created a submit button, for example, but that button is not working properly. It is not, it's showing some errors, so that did not go well. And then we also see what did go well. For example, we planned to complete one feature in 2 weeks, but we finished it in like less than 2 weeks, maybe saved 1 to 2 days. So that's what went well. And we also see what new can be done, what is the more that we can put into the solution or the product that will be more useful for the users. And now once this cycle is completed, we have completed the cycle from planning, where we have the backlog and we decide, we kind of checkbox the items we will work. We go to daily scrum with product owner, scrum master, we discuss what we are doing. We do a sprint review, we show half shippable product to them. And then once this is done, we actually go and, from our sprint backlog checklist, see if we have covered all those items, do a retrospective of it. This is one cycle. Now one cycle is done, we'll again start with the cycle of sprint planning. Any question here, guys? If you're saying something, it's not audible clearly to me. Yash, are you trying to say something? You're not audible to me. Okay. Yes. Then moving ahead, let's talk about how we use agile when we just spoke about our daily stand-ups, right? And I just said this word called as backlog, where all the work is there, and we kind of check mark which work we will be doing. So this is actually a sample screenshot of a tool called Azure DevOps board. So board is what, like, you would have your whiteboard or marker board where you roughly write stuff, right? So, and it also depends until you erase it. So this board is also like that only. We have four key columns here when we talk about a team. First column means new, all the work that is not started yet and it is in a new state is called as a backlog. Second column we have is active, all the work on which the development team is currently working on goes to active. Third, we have resolved. Resolved is basically, were there any issues which were pending and they have been resolved, goes into resolved. And finally, fourth, we have as closed. All the development work that we were doing that is being done is marked as closed. Now let's take and have a detailed look at this example. So I think they are working on a project. It's assigned to some person called as Seng. And another user story that's here is basically check performance, which is assigned to Jamal. Now the active work that's here is Hello World website, which is assigned to Rasia. Its state, as you can see here, is active. And second task here is again technician dashboard improvements, which is again assigned to Christine. So as you can see, they all the tasks that are here are assigned to different people, and we keep changing. So once they will be done with creating this Hello World website, it will go from active to closed, and anything from the new can be taken up. So this is how on a daily level we also track updates, which of these is done. And if you see in the resolved one, right, change initial view, there are three tasks over here. So when these three tasks will be done, we'll just check this box indicating, okay, fine, we have completed this. This has been done now. Let's take up the next action item. Now, this is a place, kind of a source of record where we track all the work that we are doing. Now, to see how fast we are doing that work, or are we closing out the work fast enough or not, Azure dashboard come into the picture as well. In Azure DevOps only, we have a sprint summary dashboard where we can check, so for the sprint, let's say for them, the sprint was from November 1 to November 30th, if you can see in the screenshot, and how many work items they have completed, how many are not started, how many days to the sprint are remaining. And they are also calculating some analytics, like they have completed 50 work items, still have 10 active work items, they had planned for 76 unplanned work items which were not initially there as a part of their sprint start, but they still came along the way. And work that's moved out basically means initially they thought that they want to do that work, but then they were like, okay, let's not have that feature, so they just remove it. And then they have like how many items are still in the backlog. And they also check the velocity. Now velocity in agile terms basically means how fast are you completing the work, how fast a work item that I showed you here from new state will go to the close state. Basically how fast you're closing out the task that is being assigned to you, that is being tracked on a daily level basis. And then sprint burn down means, when you started the sprint, how much work did you have, and how much have you completed till date. So they have completed 72% of the work. So it is used by product owners to check, if whatever they have planned for the sprint is going smooth or not. Are they good to close the work by the end of the sprint, or is there something in danger? Any doubts still here? Okay, I'll assume that has
Yes,
been.
ma'am. I have a question. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I'm audible.
The voice is a little fumbled, but yeah, I can hear.
Hello.
Yeah, 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 I can hear you.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
We have heard the extreme programming is also another technique apart from Scrum. So, which one is the most recommended in your industry?
In the industry, the most recommended that I have seen and worked so far is Scrum. Because Scrum provides you a lot of flexibility than extreme one. So mostly in all the, like I showed you, right, all most of the Fortune 500 are big companies follow a Scrum practice only.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have had a lot of context on now how sprint looks like, what is Scrum, what is a Scrum team, what do we do there, what are the ceremonies. Now, I just want you to walk through my day as a decision scientist and how this agile practice is being used on my day to day operations. So I start my day. So I first of all work for Fortune 10 US client. I can't reveal the name because of an NDA, but yeah. So since it's a US client, I have to work a little late. So I start my day at 12:30 every day, and I start with a development team Scrum meeting. So before I actually start with that, I should tell you. So are you guys aware of what is a product based and what is a service based company? Okay, I'll just explain it to you. So product based company are those companies which have their own products. For example, Google creates its own product, so that's a product based company. Philips, they create their own products, it's a product based company. Now comes service based companies. Service based companies are those people who provide services to these some of these product based companies or some of the other clients. For example, all the consulting firms are like KPMG or PwC, Deloitte, even New Sigma is a service based company where we work for an external client providing services to them. So my day starts at 12:30. We have a team's development team Scrum meeting where we use the Kanban board or an ADO board, which we have backlog there. We will tell what we were doing yesterday, what we will be doing today, and if we have any problems or if we need any help from each other. Now, once that meeting is done, which lasts for 15 to 30 minutes, from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., I will work on my data science work, whatever is the current project I have been working on. So, just to put some context here, currently I'm actually working for that Fortune 10 company to enhance their portfolio operations and enhance their agile metrics. So trust me, agile, when it comes to industry, they are very, very, very particular about it, because how fast their work is being done and how fast they are able to deliver that $1 million value out of their work is very important to those people. So having all this process in place is very important for them. Now, once the development team work is done, by roughly around 7 p.m. our Indian time, it's morning in US. So I have my daily stand up with my product owners along with my team, where again we discuss the same thing with them, that yesterday we told you we will work on this thing. Today we have completed this thing, or we are still working on this thing, and tomorrow we'll be working on this thing. And if there are any blockers and we do need their help anytime on any feature or any feedback or any permission or anything of that sorts. Now once that is done, next step is kind of subjective. So sprint is actually 2 weeks. I work on a 2 week sprint basis where my sprint ends to showcase my work to my business users and end users. So usually on a bi-weekly basis around 8 p.m. our time, we have that review with them where we showcase them features end to end. So right now also, as I said, I am working with the team to enhance their portfolio operations and agile metrics. So we are creating a web based tool for them. in a layman term, it's a website. So after every 2 weeks, I have to go in that call with my team and present that entire website flow end to end, how we have developed the features, how the feature will help them, and ask for their feedback. What do you think more can be done, or do you like it or do you not like it? And once this is done, around 9 p.m. our time, I close my work with a development team EOD meeting, where with my team I decide, okay, fine, we had planned this for the day, it's done and dusted, let's see what we'll be working on tomorrow. So not just a decision scientist, it's the same day looks like for any developer as well. So yeah, that's about the day. And just before we are almost done with the session, but I just want to highlight that not just agile being an important aspect of all the companies as working developers, there are many job roles also in agile. Especially these are very emerging in US and other countries like that. Some of them are like product owners, agile coach. Agile coach is basically a person, you know who will teach the organization how to follow the standard set of processes, or how should you be maintaining your backlog, how should you be carrying out your sprints. So I recently actually met a agile coach from Microsoft who was telling me, what are the different problems that organizations are having with respect to agile, not being able to consistently manage it, and what his day looks like when he has to go and tell them that's not how you define your work, that's not how you talk to business. So all these jobs are like very prominent in the industry, and it's very booming right now. Similarly, next one is basically scrum master, then you have a product manager, and then you have a delivery lead. So yeah, that was it. I think I would like to talk on agile industry today. If you guys have any questions, I am here. You can ask me and throw questions at me right now.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
What types of certification can we go for being a decision scientist?
For a decision scientist, you don't actually need a certification, to be very honest, because you can, if you want to do some I would not say certifications, but a master's degree would be a good option. But if you want to enter the role of a decision scientist as an entry level straight out of college, you don't need any certifications. You just need to be a little equipped with coding like Python or R if possible. Rest, for an entry level position, it should be good. No certifications required for that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
No worries. Any other questions, anyone? You can ask me any questions, since most of you will be starting with sitting in placements your next semester. So if you have any questions respect to any of the job roles here, or any other job roles in general, or anything in agile, I can answer them for you right now. Okay, then. I think we are good. So this was all I wanted to share with you guys today. Was lovely talking to you all. Thank you so much for having me.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah,
I would like to give vote of thanks on behalf of our college.
thank you so much.
On behalf of Vasmita Patil Pratishthan College of Engineering and Visual Arts, HODs and coordinators, I extend a sincere gratitude to our esteemed speaker for sharing a valuable insight and expertise during this enlightening seminar, and Professor Shifali Nana for arranging such a lifelong learning session for all the students. Your knowledge has truly enriched our understanding, and we are thankful for your time and commitment to this event. We look forward to future opportunities for learning and growth together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone, and all the best for a wonderful future. Bye bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye bye.